pretty brief, no significant injury updates. We're banged up. These last 4 weeks have been kind of a bit of a meat grinder, if you will, and so, but we don't have anybody, other than Patrick and Malcolm that'll be out, and then we have the surgery guys that are more long term. But was really proud of our team, proud of the resilience, proud of the way that certainly the offense for the first time or in a long time around here felt like they kind of carried the game. We've been leaning on our defense for so long around here that it was nice that when you're playing an offense as powerful as Oklahoma, one that got to be one of the best offenses in the country, if not the best. We knew they were going to score some points, and we were going to have to match them, and we did that. I was proud of the way that we handled their fourth quarter comeback. There was zero negativity. There was no head hanging, no finger pointing, no here we go again. There was none of that. It was, hey, get us the ball back, and we're going to make something happen and go win the game. So obviously was not happy that we put ourselves in that position. We with whatever it is, 21-point lead with 11 minutes to go. The college or the football Bible tells you got to take the air out of it a little bit and slow the tempo of your offense down, and we didn't execute very well when we did that. And obviously the holding penalties, consecutive plays and on consecutive drives was concerning, but they were certainly a bunch of guys straining out there to try to run the football, and we had some good runs, and the holds. I don't know that they were would have significantly impacted the yardage on the run too, which is kind of a double whammy. But we came through, and really pleased with the resilience of our team to be able to win a game in that fashion. And then I'm maybe the most proud of how they came to work yesterday. Came to work yesterday ready to get better, understanding that we're 0-0 against Baylor this week, and our preparation is what's led us to where we're at now, and how we prepare and how we tune the noise out and how we manage all of the distractions. I think we've done a really good job of that. Our coaches have done a really good job educating our players. Our older players have done a really good job educating the young players. And, this is a winning football team coming in here, 4-2, 2-1 in conference, with, I think, top 10 passing offenses in the country, top 25 total offense in the country. And we understand, what's at stake this week, and every step we take throughout the season makes the next week that much more important. And I think I liked our practice yesterday. I liked the way the guys carried themselves in the locker room and at practice, and was proud of that. I do want to say one last thing. It's good to be back home. 2 straight road games is obviously difficult, especially the opponents and where you're playing. And I was really, really, really excited about, what hopefully has become the new normal around here in terms of game day experience. And I want to thank our students again, and, really personally invite our students to make sure that they make our home field advantage this weekend the way that it was the last couple home games, and excited as heck to get back out in front of them. Questions?
Back middle, Steve.
Coach, after looking at the film of Saturday, has anything else showed itself that you didn't see after Saturday's game? I mean, anything stepped out that you didn't see before? Anybody want to point out?
No. Kyler Murray's really fast. And number 5 is really fast. I mean, that's, whoa, can those guys run? And we're fast on defense, but they're faster. So we had a long conversation with our recruiting department about going and finding those guys for our team. We're not elite fast on offense right now, but what we are doing is we're playing to our strengths really well. You know, we do have size and strength at the skill position, at tight. I mean, Andrew Beck's 267 pounds. I mean, he's a big dude that's also pretty athletic, you know, and obviously our wideouts pretty well documented, you know, how, you know, the size matchup. I think the biggest thing, I don't know if I mentioned it in the post-game deal. I knew it on the field was a big play, but I think 3rd and 20 on your first drive of the second half and throw a tunnel screen, just trying to add yards onto your punt. And L.J. Humphrey got stopped. You know, I think we counted like 14 yards shy, or the first contact was 14 yards shy of the first down. And him and the rest of his teammates, I mean, just willed him to within 2 yards, made the decision to go for it on 4th down. Pretty easy after seeing that kind of effort, energy, attitude, culture. I thought that was the play of the game. The play of the game, because it was a snapshot of a demonstration of our culture of toughness, our culture of, you know, not giving up, our culture of strain, and again, then we convert the 4th down, go on to score a touchdown in the drive, which I think, again, solidified a lot of confidence on offense.
Tom, you know, this is a team that, 5 weeks ago, they could shoot out at halftime and they tensed up, you know, and now they're in the top 10, right? I mean, I understand what you're saying about tune out the outside noise, but, I mean, in the real world, I mean, how does that really work with these guys?
Well, education, a lot of it. You know, I think they all I told a story. Our team meeting was at whatever it was, 2:30 yesterday or 2 o'clock. So roughly about 24 hours after the game ended, and I was up to, I think, 197 text messages. I got 9 after we lost to Maryland. I got 9. So I think, you know, these guys understand that the people in that locker room and the people in our program are the ones that are going to love them and be by their side, regardless of outcome, regardless of ranking, regardless of what is said about them. And that has really taken a hold of this group of kids that they believe that. They really, really believe that. And I think anytime you can provide examples and education, right. And we talked about this too. There is no midseason conference championship trophy, right? They don't. Bob Bowlesby was at our game. He didn't hand out the conference championship trophy. There's a lot of season left, a lot.
So, I mean, you've talked a lot about this, the 1-0, and that was it. Your thing in Houston too. What conceptually led you to that, or how did you come up with that?
Well, I had always believed in the value of competition, and you know, it's what's made this the greatest country in America. That we're allowed to compete both in the business sector and in the social sector and the entertainment sector. But to break down human nature, again, is to not do things that are difficult and not do things that are time-consuming, to not do things that are painful. But in order to win, you have to do those things. There is no in-between. There's no do them some of the time and only feel pain some of the time, or win anything. So, yeah, we want to go 1-0 every week, but it's much more micro in our program. It's about winning every rep in practice. It's about winning every off-season drill. It's about winning every test you take in the classroom. It's about competing against the three entities we talk about all the time. One, a direct opponent. Go block that guy, go tackle that guy, go cover that guy. Those are easy to get motivated for. The other two are very difficult, and one is your own best self. To compete against your own best self. If you've done something 100 times, is your 101st going to be better than the 100th? And that's very much against human nature, because we're all conditioned to put it on autopilot when we do things over and over again. And then what we talk about, the little demon in your head that tells you, hey, nobody's watching. It's okay to only do 9 push-ups when you're supposed to do 10, or it's okay, you're really tired, it's really hot, it's okay to only give 90%. And so we battle that guy almost on a second-by-second basis, to get motivated to defeat that guy and go 1-0 against that guy. So I just think, being competitive in everything you do in any facet of life is going to lead to success, no matter how you define success. And there's a lot of different definitions of that for outside of the football arena. But for us, it's winning football games and graduating players. And if you can compete on a minute-by-minute, hour-by-hour, day-by-day, week-by-week basis, and you're taught how to do that and who you're competing against, then you're going to have a pretty good shot at being successful.
Coach, and kind of along those lines of what Brian was talking about, I mean, you guys are sitting here at 5-1 through 6 games. I think I counted there, you got 15 of 21 starters who've only experienced 5 wins through a 12-game season. So how you develop a program where winning is not just a bonus, but it's something that's expected?
I don't think we're at a place right now where you can say winning is expected, and I think that's okay. I think winning right now is the fruit of the labor of the week of preparation, and it should be celebrated immensely. Whether you're beating Tulsa or beating Oklahoma, it doesn't matter. Winning is extremely difficult and should be celebrated. And I think sometimes when the standard versus expectation, I think, are two different things. We go in to every game expecting to play our best by having confidence in how we've trained in that week's preparation, and the standard that we set for how we prepare on a day-to-day basis throughout the week of game prep. But we don't expect to win. We have a standard. We expect to play our best. Now, it is nice to know that for the most part, if we do play our best is good enough. But that's more the expectation than expecting to win. I don't know. I just think that there's a level of arrogance maybe that comes with expecting to win that I don't know that I ever really want our guys to have. I want them to understand that each week is a freaking battle.
How do you differentiate that? Because you also say you guys want to compete for championships and compete obviously for like a Big 12 title also every single year.
Yeah, I think you can have long-range goals but I think you have to piece those long-range goals you have to parse that into specific weeks that you go 1-0 each week and you celebrate that win and then you erase it. But I think, again, expecting to win, just that word, expect, in my mind breeds entitlement. It breeds arrogance. We don't expect anything other than what we've earned. And if we've earned the right to play our best by the way that we've trained, then we feel pretty good about our chances of winning each week.
Hey, Tom. Before the Oklahoma game, I think there was this belief by some that this team plays to its competition. How do you make sure that these guys maintain that level of play that they're capable of, regardless of whether it's Oklahoma or Baylor?
Well, again, Baylor's 4-2 and 2-1 in conference. They got a really good team that's ridiculously high-powered offense that can run and throw the football. So I think that's the biggest thing that, I mean, we're not – this is a really good football team we're playing. And in the Big 12, they're all going to be, and you play all 9 of them. And, again, I go back to, us being one of only 2 teams in the country to play 11 Power 5 opponents in the last 2 years back-to-back. So we're battle-tested. We play really good people every week. And so I don't think – and the cool thing is we're still at a point in our program where it's an impossibility almost that we would have any kind of letting off of the gas or arrogance or think we're just going to roll our helmets out and win football games just because, have you seen the last 4 years? It's like that's not – we're not capable of doing that yet. Hopefully someday, our C game will be good enough to beat some people, but right now I think our kids really, really believe that we have to play our best to win, but that if we do play our best, we've got a great chance to win.
Yeah, yeah, Tom. Kind of based off that, I was just reading through the notes. 5-1, best start since '09, top 10 for the first time since 2010. Are you curious, excited to see how your team responds to being in this position now, a position that Texas hasn't been in some time?
Yeah, I hope less curious as the week. I think hopefully more sure of how they will. But I said to them when we lost the opener, I said this game will not define us. How we respond to it will. And I told them that about this Oklahoma game. That game will not define us. How we respond to it will. I don't think it's not the ultimate goal, and I think it's easy. That's not a hard concept for our guys to understand what's necessary to win week in and week out. But I do understand that there is a different. You're responding to different things. The first game, you're responding to a loss. This one, you're responding to a big win. But neither one of those games will define us, nor should it. But our response will.
Tom, maybe just me, but it seems that you guys are rotating your receivers a little bit less this season. Is that just because those 3 are playing so well? Is that because of John and Brennan's injuries, or a change in philosophies, or am I
John
just
and
seeing
Brennan's
things?
injuries has a lot to do with it, certainly. And I think in games like that we've been in, tight ball games that we're still needing to throw the ball around. Those 3 guys that start and play the most, there's a significant difference too in their level of play right now. But I would say the biggest thing certainly is John and Brennan's health, and hopefully that'll change. But Gerard's, Devin Duvernay can't play every snap because the guy stock blocks his tail off and then runs goes and posts. That's what that position does, and he's really good at it. But he'll get worn down. Colin Johnson's a little different. He's an intermediate guy that he's in great shape right now. You don't see a huge drop off in his play. As he piles on, the number of reps. But we've got to manage it as we go into the season. I think knowing that our bye week was, not even the midway part of the season. We've been playing football since the first week of August. So, whatever this is, this is week 11 or whatever that is. But we've got a chance to take a deep breath and get our bodies back fresh next week. But up until we get to that point, we're going to empty the chamber and play the best guys. I don't think there was any. The philosophy last year was that they were all kind of all on the same level in terms of quality of play, and so it was easier to rotate, where these guys have kind of separated themselves a little bit.
Tom, was there anything you said to Sam or he said to you after the Maryland game that gave you confidence that he would be able to grow the way he's grown and mature? And one coach told me the success of your quarterback can mean more than 50% of your team's success. Do you believe that?
I do, yeah. And not just success, but confidence. Our team really believes in him right now, and there's a psychology to that, certainly. And I think us coaches and his teammates really, really believe in him and his abilities right now. Certainly not a finished product. There's a reason we grade film. There's a reason, there were a lot of things, plays that he wishes he had back, even in a game where he scored 48 points and accounted for 5 touchdowns. But and there was two kind of things I told him. One, after the Maryland game, was you don't need to look over your shoulder. I'll tell you when you do. But we believe in you. You didn't lose the Maryland game for your team. You didn't. That was coaches, players, offense, defense, special teams. We all lost that game. And I think having the head coach believe in you allows you a little more confidence. Now, that doesn't mean that his leash was going to be infinite from that point forward, but we were going to give him – we made the decision for him to be our starting quarterback, and we made that decision for a lot of different reasons, and one game, one quarter in a game was not going to deter us from that decision. And then I called him – it was either Wednesday or Thursday night on our way home, and we had a really good conversation heading into the Oklahoma game. And I said, you're really good when you're confident. You're really good when you're aggressive. You're really good when we use the term grip it and rip it. Just freaking rip the ball, man. But when you try to aim, you try to think, you try to over-diagnose, you play hesitant. And so we had a long conversation about, just because this is Oklahoma doesn't mean we need to get conservative and play not to lose. We need to stay aggressive. And I didn't say reckless. I didn't say silly. I said aggressive and confident. And that was a really good conversation, and I'm one that I'm glad we had.
Tom, a few minutes ago, you made a pretty specific reference to the text messages that you got after a loss and then after a big win like this. I'm wondering, early on, as a coach, do you kind of build your own bunker mentality when early on and stuff like that? And when the messages come pouring in, what's the difference in tone? And are you asking yourself, great, where were you when?
No, and I should clarify that. I'm very appreciative of the 187 texts I got. I don't want anybody to think that I'm not. And they were from very well-intended people. And I also understand that even people that are very close to you, when you lose a ball game, some things are better left unsaid. It's like, hey, I'm not going to try to make you feel better, and text you some BS. So I get all of that. I find that, especially with an 18 to 22-year-old kid that's on probably 4 different social media platforms, I would imagine that his circle is being pulled in every direction to try to expand. And I guess it was just an example of how you need to tighten your circle in times like this, not expand it, because the only people that should matter in terms of what they think of you are the teammates that see you practice every day and prepare, and your coaches that see you practice and prepare. But I'm very appreciative of all the well wishes I got. I definitely that. I just thought it was a neat little example of, the highs and lows of winning and losing.
Tom, from Maryland to today, have you enjoyed the challenge of figuring out how to motivate this team and push their buttons and, convince them that their best is good enough and that they need to shove all in for you?
Yeah, I that was the right word, challenge, for sure. But we figured out a bit of a blueprint now that, when you find that, you don't change. Like I told you, heading into the Oklahoma game, everybody, well, how do you, is it the biggest game of the year, or is it just another game? Is it, it's, again, it has to do with the preparation and the Sunday team meeting, after you beat Kansas State, getting ready for Oklahoma is the same as when you beat Oklahoma heading in to play Baylor. They would think I was crazy if I walked in there and said, hey guys, I know you just beat Oklahoma and we got another conference game at home, but we're going to do a bunch of things really different this week. We're not. We're going to do them a little bit harder, a little bit better, a little bit more of them each and every week. We had a long talk yesterday about I know it sounds corny, it's the old saying, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. And there's no in between in football. And so in order for us to continue to get better, we've got to continue to ratchet up our level of preparation, regardless of opponent. But it has been fun and challenging. It's been fun because of the response of the guys and a lot of smiles. We don't smile a whole lot on the practice field or in the meeting rooms, but just walking around and academics and just being around the building and weight workouts, stuff like that. It's been a lot of positivity.
It seems like whenever you need yards on 3rd and 4th and medium, you have 2 plays and quarterback stretch, and then that double dig with LJ and Colin on the boundary side. Why have those been so successful this year? And do you consider those plays like okay, we need yards, this is what we're running?
Absolutely. When I was a very young coach, I think I might have even mentioned it to you, I read a very powerful book on my philosophy offensively, and it was by Brian Billick, and it was called Developing an Offensive Game Plan. And he talks about all the different, the science and the percentages and all the different situations. Hey, over the last 4 years, you've been in 3rd and 1 to 2, an average of 1.8 times a game. So you only need to carry, 2 runs and 1 pass, because you're only going to, the statistics tell you, and that way you really kind of condense how you practice. That being said, the other part of that book that really has stuck with me is that when you self-scout, defenses are going to play tendencies. There's no doubt about it. But tendencies are good if you continue to be efficient at them. And so, we want to get the ball to 84 or 9 on 3rd down. I don't think that's any secret. Now, we have had guys like Devin step up. We've had guys like, John Burt had a big catch. I don't know if it was on 3rd down the other day, but Andrew Beck has become a big-time target on 3rd down. But and then the quarterback sweep, there's an extra hat. Now, you got to start finding, they did a great job adjusting towards the end there. The whole defense was over there, and it was just kind of a will versus will thing, especially the last touchdown Sam scored. There was a few different unblocked guys over there that Sam found his way to kind of weave around. But we'll figure. You want to have complements to your bread and butter plays, and I'm sure as the season progresses, you'll see a little bit more of those complements.
You've been around college football for a while now. Does Texas have the look and the feel of a top 10 football team, and where did you vote Texas in your vote?
I think I voted us 11. And I don't know, because I watch so little college football, you know, so I don't know. I hear Alabama's really good, you know. Yeah, so, and you know, I got home in time to watch the end of the Notre Dame game, and they look to be really good. So, but I haven't watched enough to know what I'm comparing us against, and I think there are times too, for the most part, as coaches, we see all our warts, right, every day in practice and every day in film study, and so you're like, there's no way we could be a top. I mean, look at this mistake we made, look at this mistake we made, look at this mistake we made. So that's a difficult thing to answer, but I will say this, and I know they're fun for people to describe matchups. I know they've been around for 100 years, but the only one that matters is the one at the end. And you know, midseason polls are great because our kids have earned that recognition, but we got to go out and win every week, you know, for it to matter. I don't remember. 13th, 12th or 13th, something like that.
For two last ones, Ed and then Bob. Coach, can you talk about Charlie Brewer? His dad was a great Longhorn quarterback. His uncle was a Longhorn quarterback. Just talk about Charlie and the way he's been playing, and really enjoying those special plays Saturday from you. Really good.
I'm keeping him up.
Thank you very much.
Just for you.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
He's really good. Like, has a chance to be special. I mean, he's a true sophomore. I can't say enough about his development. You know, we saw him as a true freshman. We knew he had a chance to be good, and now they've opened the offense up a little bit more. That's undeniable. You know, they haven't. And that's a credit to their coaching staff too for recognizing the personnel that they have, and the fact that they've got a really, really, really good quarterback. And you know, I think if his career stays on the trajectory that it's on, he's going to be, you know, in that conversation in a year or two of the, you know, the great ones that have come through this league time and time again. I think he's really, really special.
Thanks.
You mentioned Sam's at his best when he's aggressive and not thinking and that kind of stuff. Are you and Tim Beck at your best as play callers when you're aggressive? And does the Kansas State second half and the Oklahoma fourth quarter make you reevaluate, you know, what the number is, where you try to bog things down a little bit and get conservative as opposed to staying aggressive?
The Kansas State one, a little bit, certainly. I don't think there's a coach in America that's going to tell you up by 21 with 11 minutes left that the right thing to do is play up tempo. You know, it's not. You know, it's run the ball, safe, easy passes, and we didn't execute. You know, we had some things that were there. We popped a couple runs that got called back for holding, and you know, or it would have been a different story certainly. But no, the right thing to do in that situation will always be to try to take the air out, keep your defense on the sideline so that when they go back out against that offense, they're fresh and that offense has less and less time to try to mount a 21-point comeback in one quarter. Now they did it, and you know, hindsight's 20/20, but there's the right thing to do was what we did.